Well, welcome back. Part 3. We're still here, and we still want to get back to Juan on this.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's all good.
Stop apologizing.
So it's time. Yeah, because we have to drink every time you apologize.
Yeah, that's you, not me.
No, I think it's everybody. Anybody that says they're sorry on
I
this.
was called out by some watchers, the people that subscribe to us, that I'm a real dick because I keep interrupting him. And I'm like, and one of my clients like, he's not a dick. He's really a good guy. It's just part of the stick. It really isn't. It's the alcohol.
And now you guys know why he interrupts me. It's because I go down
it was a crazy rabbit hole.
Dark rabbit holes.
But we're going to edit the crap out of it, and we're going to be fine. So we're with our friend Juan, who I've known for a long time. I was trying to get back to your sixth sense, but I would like to roll that into more of your childhood experience before we get a chance to tell our story at Stanley Hotel, and not the stories about you getting me out of jail and all that stuff. So we're gonna do another shot. Here we go, guys. It's number 3.
Yeah, we're not keeping track.
That's not good.
No, that's not good to keep numbers.
Numbers are provable.
Oh, good Lord. So, Juan, going back to our conversations we had through the last 35 years, my man, I know you told me some stories about possibly a basement, if you wanted to talk about the basement. And
around the same time frame, so I haven't had many experiences after this house. So, there had to be something with this house. So let me tell you about, I don't know if you call it a deja vu or something, but when we moved in this house, like I said, it was an older house, my father decided to work on the basement and fix it up. And it was just a bare basement. So he starts working on this, but this project is slow because he's a DIYer. He's not a professional contractor or anything.
And this is about what time frame?
This was still about the same time frame.
Like 80s? That's what I was trying to late
like
70s, early 80s?
I'll say it's in the 70s.
yeah, it'd have to be early 70s at that.
The reason why I want to put, because you say DIY, do-it-yourself type things. Mm-hmm. Your dad was doing it himself because there's no videos. There's if you're lucky,
going to Google it.
Yeah, you're not going to Google it. It's you got to find a book if you're lucky.
Like a tree shade mechanic. Tree shade mechanic. So I'm pretty drunk. So
that's
like a tree shade mechanic.
I didn't even think about that. That's
cool. And I didn't pick it up until Jeremy just said that. I'm like, what the hell's Juan?
Because I'm so used to if I don't know, Google it.
I've known Juan for a long time, but I'm he's throwing out stuff I don't know.
That's one hell of a man. He just you know what? I don't know how to do this. I'm just going to figure it out. And that's what they did.
That's old school. That's what our dads did.
And not to mention, if you don't know and you're like, I'll go get a book.
You if you had a friend that was in the trade.
But the library might not have had a book about that.
What I would call evil house at this point, because until you bring up all these thoughts and memories, I'm realizing, wow, that place was terrifying.
That's what you said. We'll start talking because
it literally, I don't know if it's partially I block certain things. I have memories so I had trauma when I was really, really, really young, and I can remember back to probably 5 years old, which most people think about 10ish to 15.
Yeah.
But when you have trauma,
it sticks with you.
It sticks with you.
Absolutely.
So and when I start talking about people
and
things like the footsteps, I remember, and when I mentioned to you, you're like, oh yeah, there was footsteps.
And that's why when he does dream regression, I want to go because I want to know what happened to me house in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it on past lives.
That's fucked up, Jeremy.
And we're getting off subject, but I am going to try to. Hopefully, we'll be able to film it. I know I'm going to get a recording session of it when it's done. Yeah. But of reincarnation, I think that's a really plausible.
But when we go, I want to know if she can tell me what experiences I had as a kid in that house.
Well, I'm not going to pay for you. I'll pay for me.
No, I'll pay for it. But I want to know because my sister.
So I'm going to sit on your session.
You realize it's. Juan was the one supposed to be talking.
Yeah. Sorry. So we're shut up. So Juan, we apologize. This is why our podcast 8 hours. So we apologize.
Yeah, this is why we have so many episodes. It's actually just one all night long.
Yeah, get up. So I'm sorry, my man. Go ahead.
So back to my childhood in the house and another experience I had. And like I said, my father he was redoing the basement, and it was a bare basement, and it wasn't exactly a stone foundation, but it wasn't like the foundations we have today.
Was it like limestone block? Or do you remember?
It wasn't really block. It was like, well, it was something with like plaster over it.
Okay,
So-
like almost like a stucco over whatever was behind it.
Yeah.
To kind of smooth it out.
Probably a block foundation.
Just out of curiosity, because I'm going to interrupt you, because
He's supposed to talk, not you.
Was him doing stuff in the basement in any reference of when things started to pick up in activity?
That was my thought.
Valid question.
Well,
Do you or can you remember?
I don't
that
know
much?
because that was over 50 years ago.
That's fair, and that's why I was just like, because like things blend together after a certain amount of time.
So in this basement, we had a walkout. You know, like the storm doors they have for like tornadoes. Well, we had one that led out,
Yeah.
and it went out the basement, and there was an old door there that was really raggedy, ancient. Like, but you're going to this area where I think it was supposed to be a tornado safe room, but it was under the porch, but it was all concrete around, and then they had the door that leads out.
Yeah, there's a
And
tornado.
in theory, you could get in there in a tornado and you'd be safe. But in all actuality, it probably would have ripped those old doors off there.
Yeah, there's videos of people getting sucked out, trying to
Yeah.
hold the doors, and
Yeah,
That's what happens at the beginning of the movie
exactly that type
Twister.
of door. So he started fixing up the basement, and he's putting a kitchen down there and a little storage area.
is he
And,
planning on
of
moving down there?
course- I don't know why he put a second. There's a full kitchen upstairs. Man.
He's gonna rent it out.
He was
likes
probably
to
going to
cook.
rent it.
Yeah, he's gonna rent it out.
Smart man, you put a whole kitchenette down
Maybe
there.
figure when he gets in trouble, he's going to the basement. But he put the a nice fancy kitchen, better than the one upstairs. A storage area.
He's
Then
doing
we
it for
had
himself.
air
That man was doing it for
conditioning area.
himself.
And then he put a full bathroom in the back.
Wow.
Holy cow!
But prior to all this happening, I had a dream. And, with the attic and everything, I'm sure I had lots of nightmares and dreams. But in this dream, I remember I was walking down the stairs into this basement, which was unfinished at the time, so it's completely dark. I think it was 2 lights in the whole basement, and there's a little pull string light, so it wasn't going to light up the
Yeah.
basement. So I had this dream. I walked down there in the basement, and I pulled the string light, and I was like, "Oh, somebody's fixing up the basement." My father hadn't started this project yet.
Oh shit.
I'm looking over there. There's a partially done kitchen, exactly where he put the kitchen at. And I'll walk back around and I see the storage area, and then the area to one area of it was closed off, and it had 2 doors. And when you open this door, there was a storage area in there, and a lot of stuff from the previous owner was still left in there. And what we found out, one of these things that was left in there was either kerosene or moonshine. I don't know, but it burned.
Either way, it starts the engine.
Yeah, because
Burned
we
up.
experimented with it a little bit, and I accidentally caught the basement on fire, which kind of triggered the project. But anyway, I walked into this room.
We'll just slide over that one real quick.
That's what it triggered the basement repair. But
Wow.
I walked into this room, and in this room, he had put a full bathroom in. And it was to the left, there was this green tub, a lime green tub, and I'm thinking, lime
Lime
green?
green?
Yeah,
Nowadays.
70s.
That's weird.
And it had a slide door.
Probably got
And
dirt
I
cheap.
slid this door open, and I froze and looked at it because there was a dead body cut up in there. It was a body laying it in the tub, and it was perfectly sliced like somebody did it with a saw. And it sliced it both ways. It was like diced.
like cubed, like
Yeah, it was diced, but
Yeah.
it was still
so in the form.
It's-
Just,
of the
Intact.
body. It was just perfectly sliced. I'm thinking,
That's fucked
how did
up.
that happen? And I mean, it
That's horrible.
scared the crap out
Yeah,
of me.
well, sure, it scared the crap out.
yeah, at 8 years old.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
And I left the basement, and I thought, I woke up and I thought, that's a horrible dream.
So I hate to ask this, but is it possible that the thing that you guys were experiencing in the attic correlated to what you saw in your dream, and the thing that was in the attic was actually that person that had been cut up, and they took the pieces up to the attic and
Well,
put them in the walls or
I
something?
never really put the 2 things together.
Either
But
way,
it was
it
a
caused
terrifying experience in the house because I'm
made
like,
you lose all
why
your
would I
hair.
dream that?
Yeah, that's messed up.
And like I said, after that dream, we had the stuff in back then. I don't know if it was kerosene or moonshine, but we experimented with it. We knew it would light on fire. And eventually, I caught the basement on fire, and the fire department showed up and everything.
Oh wow! It was not just a little small fire.
It was on fire.
Did you dream of the house of any other time, or was that just your main dream?
Where this dream came from, but then years later, he starts rebuilding his basement. He puts the exact same tub in there, and it really freaked me out.
Do you think maybe? I mean, because you'll never know, but I think that he may have had a dream similar, and that's why he put the tub in.
Wow.
I don't know.
The only reason why I bring it up is
did your dad ever kill any white people?
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a dream.
He's not going to really admit to that. I'm just saying.
No, Juan will tell me later.
Yeah.
But you know, my father could have been following a dream of his own when he put this together. But the thing is, why did I dream the same thing?
You think it was a Malibu haunting? I mean,
I don't know. The only reason why.
Am I saying that right?
Malevolent.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
It's
So,
just
the reason
these are not letting me say that. I know how to say.
So I'm bringing it up because, like, my sister and me, like, I have a 4-year-old sister that she sees things. Generally, I hear things or feel things. We had reoccurring dreams about the same house. The difference was she was in the house and looking out. I was on the outside trying to get to the house, and it took us for a while as she was explaining the house from the inside. Because, like, when you think about inside a house, you're like, oh, well, I look out the windows here. There's a covered porch. It wrapped around. I'm like, well, wait a minute. What did you see when you looked out? Because, like, I see a big white house with a wraparound porch, but it's a covered wraparound, which is rare. Normally, it's all open. We start talking about, well, there's a little stream. Then we're starting, like it reoccurred for multiple years. She was inside the house. I'm outside. We still don't understand why we're having that. But the odds of your dad picking out the same tub.
I know.
Well, the same floor plan, right? I mean, laying out the whole
yeah,
floor
like she literally was laying the floor plan out from the inside. I'm on the outside. I'm like, well, did the porch do this? And she was like, well, yeah, it wrapped around. It was screened in, multiple story. It was 2-story up. That, like, and when you're up at the very front, it was actually very similar to the house I had all my paranormal experiences with, Victorian, but that house was yellow siding and opened on the wraparound. But once we started talking about it, and we're like, okay, we're literally 2 people having the same dream from 2 different perspectives, and we could eventually line it up. But we're all both dyslexic, so we have a tendency to be able to think 3-dimensional. I mean, not everybody can see in color, let alone be able to picture things in your mind. And like, some people just have words.
I just have colors and shapes.
Hey, at least you have colors. Yeah. Some people just have words. Well, I don't know if you.
I guess my question is
you only get one.
No, I get a whole page full like someone else. So anyway, saying that, I'm kidding.
I don't care.
I know you don't. Have another fireball.
Okay.
No, we're all crashing on the couch tonight.
I guess my question, Juan, is: did your dad finish the basement?
The way you remember it.
He did not fit. He never did finish the complete basement. But from that point on, the basement wasn't finished in the first place. From that point on.
Really?
Yeah, it never was finished.
Like, you got to see where it was, like, completed. Do you think it was like a leap forward? Like, you just
when this happened, it wasn't completed either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was stagnant in this thing that's going to happen.
But it wasn't
going to happen. But for years, I went on thinking, okay, I'm going to go in this bathroom one day, and this guy's going to be cut up in this bathtub.
Yeah.
So, is it possible that what Jeremy was saying with the shared consciousness kind of thing, that there may have been some sort of entity or whatnot trying to
relay something
to persuade you, and that's what caused your father? But is it possible that you both had the same dream because you're psychically linked, and when it was trying to manipulate your father's dreams, or vice versa, that it also infected or interfered with your dreams?
Were you the youngest son?
Yes.
Were you close with your father?
Yes.
Compared to the other kids?
Yeah, in fact, I used to get away with a lot of stuff because they would get in trouble, and for some reason, like they'll all get whoopings, and I wouldn't get a whooping. And I was involved with
Were
it.
you close with your mom? Since you're the young, were you?
Oh my
the
God!
Closer-
Yeah, he was
closer
out.
with my mother, the older I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only knew his mom during our ages now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you couldn't talk about her baby.
The only reason why I bring that up is I'm the youngest. You're the youngest.
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. So when we had this weird thing interact
Yes.
here, we were literally talking about experiences in our mothers. You don't. I mean, are you the youngest?
Yes.
Yeah, of 2. My sister's 10 years older than I am.
He's
That's
the baby boy.
Yeah, he's a baby boy. But I'm
I
just
was the
saying-
accident.
Yeah, I was
You're
there.
a walking
They
accident.
planned for my sister. They didn't plan for shit.
No,
with me.
I was there for in case someone needed a kidney. Is why I was born.
I'm 40 years old. My mom and dad are close to 80. They didn't have me
We got
until they
more
were like in their
cookies
late
if you need
30s.
Yeah. But I'm just like that. That is now that we're but I'm the youngest. Lived in a 1900 series house. Heard footsteps. Had doors opening.
And same with my
coming.
Rich Hill house when I lived in Rich Hill.
Yeah, you had stuff happen in your house, and you're the youngest.
And same with me in both Pennsylvania and Ellenwood, where I was afraid to go upstairs.
It's just what a
I never thought about that correlation.
yeah.
That is
It's
a weird
crazy.
correlation. I mean, like
But
if I had a
Juan and I
I'd
never,
have
we
four of
never
them,
really
and that's
talked
still
about your dad. I mean, the 35 years I've known you, this is the most I've heard you talk about pops, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, they ended up separating shortly. I won't say shortly. Years after that, they
Yeah.
separated. That's why the basement never got finished. But
That makes
That's
sense.
a good reason.
Yeah.
at that point, after I had that dream and it all happened, he kind of slowed down on the project, and I was pleading with him not to finish the project anymore because I've seen this guy in this bathtub dead. I'm like, do not finish this basement.
You
So-
told him that.
I pleaded with him not to.
And
So did you
what
have-
what was his response?
Sorry.
Well, I don't remember now, but the basement never got finished, so I think he was listening to me. But he may have knew more about this story. Like I never thought about the fact that maybe he.
I mean,
saw it.
because
Maybe he just
once you
didn't
start
say
getting
the
into
same
that alignment of like you're seeing something and he's completing it, there,
Yeah, it's got to be something in common there. That's what
That's
freaked me
crazy.
out about it.
and then
too,
for
man.
him to stop. I mean, not that he wouldn't listen to you as the son, but there had to be something that clicked with them to go.
Guys,
Exactly.
when
Maybe.
your younger son says something to you that hits you here, and you listen. I mean, I know that for a fact.
So can I pry a little
No.
bit?
Well, as long as we're not
You
talking
can buy it, but I
about
can tell you
no
there's more to
religion.
this story. There's more to this story.
Yeah. So my question in particular is, did you have the dream before you kind of burned down the basement?
Yeah, I had the dream before that.
So do you think that Yeah, no. Do you think
So
that
you're talking about
subconsciously?
the Cookie and Neo in the
no,
Matrix.
no. Do you think it's
Lizzo?
the fact that you experimented with that stuff in the basement and caused that whatnot
to delay it.
is not only to delay it, but because you subconsciously remember that dream and you were like, I don't like what's down here or what could possibly be down here, so I'm going to.
No, because it was the opposite.
Well,
he
at that
triggered
point-
the change.
Yeah, at that point,
He triggered the
when
shit.
it all happened, I had no idea about any of this, and like I said, there was just a storage area over there. The basement wasn't even started or even talked about or anything, and I had this dream, and I had this dream, and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a dream. It's a freaky dream,
Yeah.
but it's a dream.
No, that's a freaky
It didn't
dream.
become real till
Yeah,
it started to become real.
Well, that's why I bring up the Matrix. And there's the scene where he goes to see the Oracle.
Yeah,
and
the spoon
Oracle,
doesn't exist.
Well, she gives him a cookie, and he's like, "You don't have to eat the cookie, whatever, and don't worry about that vase."
But she knew he was going to take the cookie before he knew he
Well,
was going
but-
to take the cookie.
You have to take a cookie when you're talking about a new protocol with system operations. But he breaks the vase, and she goes, "What's going to really mess you up is." Would you have hit the vase if I hadn't said anything about the vase?
Yes.
And that's the precog of you had the dream. Did that cause you to burn the basement inadvertently to start that chain of event? Because
I don't think so, because
You weren't thinking about it when
was
you
a-
did
It
it.
was a dream. It was just a dream. It's never going to happen. It's just a nightmare. I'm a kid, and
Yeah.
maybe
But you
I
don't-
watched a scary movie that triggered it. I don't know.
You don't think that way as a kid. I know
No.
from my experience.
Subconsciously, though,
You just don't coordinate that.
but you may
Coordinate
not
that?
know.
Is that what I said?
We could rewind it.
No, can we edit that out?
Rewind it.
Let's edit
So
that
another quick question before we take another break, because it's been 30 minutes already for some reason.
We really need to fix that light because that flickering makes me want to go grab salt.
So another quick question before we take another break and you get back into the rest of your story is
5 hours later.
5 hours later. Have you done any research recently to find out if any
Anything
death,
else happened?
anything has happened in that house, death or murder wise?
Well,
Great question.
I can tell you, I never researched to find out exactly what happened, but the house burnt down.
Oh,
Yeah, the house burnt down, but they've rebuilt it. And
Same
they
way?
rebuilt it to look the same.
okay. So
But I don't know why it caught on fire and burnt down, but I know
not,
they
not
rebuilt
to
it.
make
Maybe
you feel
someone
Might
had
have
the
been
same
the
dream.
moonshine.
Well, no, maybe someone that was living there had the same dream.
Yeah, I mean,
I
the
mean-
fact that it burnt down and it almost burnt down when I lived there,
Exactly.
I thought, wow,
So you thinking
that
it's
old
the
house
same.
burnt down, and then
I mean, what do you-
I come back and
what do
they
you
built it back.
I'm speculating that maybe the fact that whatever was causing this phenomenon realized that their work hadn't been completed because his father never finished the work. The new residents, the same thing may have happened to restart the cycle so that things could possibly
So
get...
it had to be burnt down to be rebuilt.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a speculation.
No, I love that you usually go off into like, where the hell are you going with that? So I was wondering if that's what you were going. So okay.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
So I'm going to throw my 2 cents in on
Yeah,
this.
no, absolutely.
My 1912 home that I had all my experiences about 5 years ago had a massive fire and became abandoned for a little bit, and they rebuilt it. It didn't burn the house down. It burned the master bedroom and a few other areas, and they've now...
Like what happened? The whole house wasn't burnt to the ground.
Yeah,
just
the
part.
outer frame was okay. They had some...
The front facade was okay, and
Yeah, so it
other-
burned through the main master bedroom and it was a walk-in closet and something else, and they are rebuilding it. I think it's done now. That's what's like. I'm kind of minorly freaked out because your house that you had your experiences very similar to mine had a fire. Mine had a fire. I wasn't in it, but I mean, you know, if I had a nickel for every time I had a coincidence with somebody, I mean, I have 2 nickels, but that's really weird.
But it could be
Now that I
possibly...
think about it, where I started the fire at and how the house was burnt, it was on the same side. But where I started the fire was under a concrete porch, which really couldn't burn. But that area back on the same side that I started the fire on, and where the attic was, all that burnt away. But they rebuilt it.
This could be a new possible paranormal theory to discuss and throw out there.
Well, it really opens up a lot of
That-
doors, right?
What is it like? It was meant to burn? Like, I mean, what you? Not that you were
I never
intention-
thought about it till you said this, but it could have been a similar situation that burned the house down because the whole house didn't burn. The fire department got there and put it out.
This is kind of freaking me out
No,
a little bit.
I'm really
Something
liking
happened.
this,
Yeah, I am
though.
too.
The house burnt the way it probably should have when I did it.
Yeah, I mean, like, is it a residual event happening over and over again?
Unfinished business. You know how they say spirits...
That's that's going to be a good podcast. Unfinished business.
But, I mean, is it possible that
It's just Larry sitting on the toilet.
these... So, I would be curious to find out if that before you guys had taken possession, both of you had taken possession of your houses as kids,
The history before.
the history before, could it have possibly been set up the exact same way that was in your dream and your dad was trying to recreate, and maybe it had burned down
inadvertently, but-
before?
Or is it the house? Or
That's
is it the house
interesting
making
because
the
it brings
business?
up my last point. So, before I had this dream, well, actually I had the dream, and of course we went down there experimenting into the storage area, and we're digging through the storage area with all this old stuff from the previous owners, and I find back in the corner that it was I guess
Knock it up, Dave.
I'm so sorry.
it was there was a toilet set to go in there, so that had to be done. Whenever they built the house.
This is
And it was in the storage area, so it was all built over. But I had this dream that I didn't even know it was a toilet back there until we started experimenting into this back room, and we started going through the stuff. And like the door was on this side, the toilet was on this side, so we had to work through all this stuff. We're going through all this old stuff from the house, and then
To
we
figure
dig
out that
out
there was a-
this area, and there's a toilet there.
You know what this reminds
And
me
that's
of?
the first trip that I was like, man, this basement could be finished, which gives you a cold chill.
So this reminds me of the very well documented story, and they've made several movies and TV shows about it, called The Haunting of Hill House, where the place itself has become alive because of the spirits and
That's
stuff.
what I was just
Yeah,
whispering to you. Just
that's
a
what
second
made me
ago.
think of this.
Yeah, and I've not seen the movie, but I've been in the haunted house at Universal Studios. I completely.
That's a
Juan, I
completely
don't mean to
different
be
thing.
rude, but like, how old are you? Do you mind me asking? Because
I'm 58 now.
You're 58.
I was
Because
born
I mean,
in
you look
66.
you look really young for your age.
He
So
does,
I'm
yeah.
50. So there's 8 years difference between us, and like where I grew up from St. Louis is about 4.5 hours. So I mean we're still in that. I mean, we're both old. I mean, some age better than others. I just, it sucks when you. I was just kind of curious because we're in the same generation and all that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. That all the things in my brain are firing right now because
Your brainy thing?
yeah.
He's brainy.
So 8 years difference, right? What do you know exactly when your house burned down?
Oh,
No, but I can look it up. It's documented.
Was it
been
like
about?
maybe the year you were born?
No. It burned down after I left. So I keep. Sounds kind of weird. It came up for sale, and me and my wife went and actually looked at it, and I almost wanted to buy it. We didn't. It went off market. I keep track of it. It didn't go on market again, but it was marked that they literally had pictures of it having the massive fire in the front of the house, and I kept track of it because I was like, oh my god, because I honestly was afraid that they were going to tear the house down. I have that type of connection to it. Like if it came up and I thought I could afford it, I'd totally buy it. I'm not saying I'd live in it again, but I would buy it because there was just that connection to the house of fond memories or whatever. I mean, I grew up I didn't even grow up. I think I was there for like 8 years.
yeah. I saw
Yeah.
the pictures
Yeah.
you sent me.
Yeah, no.
I feel the same way about that house in Ellenwood. That if it ever went up for sale, I would try to buy it.
Yeah.
But so you're saying it recently burned down?
Yeah, no, it was recently within the last probably eight
Okay.
years.
So I was
When did yours have
You were
the fire?
searching. Yeah, trying to make that
That
connection.
had to be
Like, could they have burned out at the same
In the
time?
70s?
Right.
After you?
Yeah, because I graduated in '84, so it was definitely in the
Yeah,
70s.
I graduated in 92. Not to make you feel old.
What I was trying to correlate was
Hey,
maybe
Larry, when did you
burned-
graduate high school?
2002.
That's what I thought.
2002.
And he's
last week, wasn't
drinking alcohol. Can you imagine
Can't
that?
drink
No.
alcohol yet.
Look at that.
Yeah, 40 years old. I'm drinking alcohol. How dare me? No, what I was trying to correlate was with could they have possibly burned down at the same time?
No,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
no, that's a good point, but I think
I
it's,
love
yeah,
where
I
you
was-
were going with
I
that.
was
No,
grabbing
it's-
the straws.
Yeah.
No, it's not grabbing at straws. The parallels that the fact that houses both had fires
In the-
and the just the same very similar paranormal activities. I didn't even think about it though. I mean, like, if you died back in the 1900s, maybe that's all you knew how to do was try to rattle a door. You didn't have Bluetooth or anything.
But it's not
You know
just.
I'm not
the-
going to be asleep tonight from you all bringing up all
Yeah.
these memories, and now I'm thinking, why did this?
I hate to tell
Things
you
I never
this.
even thought about.
Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen. Is you're going to leave here, then you're going to go, oh my god, I totally forgot about
Yeah.
this part of it.
So to close out, I just wanted to say that it's shocking to not just the same paranormal occurrences, that the houses burned down, the dreams, the correlation between you two and these houses is.
We didn't get into smells.
Well, sorry,
But I know Juan said,
So
"Oh yeah."
every once in a while, I would catch a perfume or a cigar, and no one be around. You'd just be walking by and you catch like.
Yeah, but that
But
can be
nowadays-
explained
That can
from
be in the
wood.
woodwork and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
humidity.
You know, it's like
Or
me and the
strokes,
flashlights.
Toast. I smell toast.
Well, I'll just
The only
say-
thing I was hoping maybe go more think about what you were dealing with in the house at the time. Was there anything else that like a door opening besides the one that rattled?
You see, we're all
Footsteps.
Yeah,
I haven't even mentioned the freakiest story about this house yet.
that's an
Okay.
easy explainable.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to mention the
it's one
freakiest
even
thing.
worse than the two I experienced prior
Oh
to that.
shit! Okay, let's
Okay,
go.
well, let's do it on next break.
Let's take a
Let's
quick
take a
break.
break.
Somebody's got to pee.
We'll be right back.
With my other experiences in the house, the most terrifying one, the one that stands out above all of them is, we're going back to this basement. Now, after this experience, I'm scared. I'm convinced my brothers and sisters that there's something going on in this basement. Be careful when you go down there.
I'm scared because all the experiences before have been terrifying. And this
Yeah,
is the worst one yet.
I'm already horrified for you.
It's
I know. And so to get into this basement, you have stairs. They go up and then they go in a different direction. They go right out into the middle of the house.
Yeah.
So this door that led downstairs is the basement door. It's an old house. It wasn't really secure, but this door we always linked it to the death basement, the scary basement. So
Death basement.
you don't go down there because there's only two lights. So you don't really go down there until you really have to go down there. So once my father started using the kitchen because the kitchen wasn't completely done, but it was done enough to use. So he was cooking meals down there. And there was a refrigerator down there. He put this refrigerator. We had a landing. It was an open landing. So when you go down, you can look both ways out the side.
Yep.
And for a kid, you can jump out the side. Or something could reach in and grab you out the side.
Sure.
So then you go down the other way, and of course it was against the wall on one side and it was open on the other side. So as kids, we knew something was wrong with this basement because of the dream, and I've convinced everybody in the house that, hey, you got to watch, something's going on down here. So we would always go down the basement, and if we got scared or freaked out or something, we would run up as fast as we can. And the best thing to do was once you got to the center landing, you charge the top door. If it was shut, you had a problem. So we didn't shut the door when we went into the basement. Even though my father had made it a little more livable down there with the kitchen and we ate down there, the storage areas were still there, the rec area, and it wasn't completely finished. So we would go down there once in a while, and as kids, turn off the light at the top of the stairs. Your brothers and sisters down there just and we ended up getting some pets, and sometimes they would run down there and we had to go down there and get them. And then, like, with the kitchen being in the basement, sometimes my mother would be like, well, go down in the basement and grab this out that kitchen so we can bring it upstairs.
You go grab it.
Going down there.
You're the adult.
It's like the sun's not up. I'm not going down there. So anyway, so that went on for years and years. And one day I had to go down there, and it was the middle of the night. I think the fuses went out, and the fuse box was in the basement.
Yeah, they're always in the basement.
So anytime that happened,
yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. And I know at one point my father said, just put a penny in there. And I was like, and I guess that was a thing. It worked.
Yeah,
but
it absolutely worked.
It was
Yeah,
known
it
to
never
burn
blows.
houses down.
Yeah, it burns houses down.
So,
Foreshadowing.
It does. Because it doesn't shut off. It won't trip.
So just a random question. Is that because it was old knob? Jeremy will know this. Was it knob and tooth wiring?
Not knob and tube.
It was probably
yes.
a cloth
I
wiring.
think that's what they
That's
call it.
knob and tube.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. But yeah, that the old style screw and
Your
fuses.
fuses would screw in.
Yeah, they're literally
like a little
and
glass
what you
thing.
do is you put a penny in there and screw an old fuse in, and that'd make the contact. They don't blow. I mean, you it'd melt
No,
the
they won't
house.
trip.
But there was no ground as well, right?
Yeah, generally 110 circuits didn't have ground on them
Yeah.
either. You know,
And
who
that's
needs that?
what
Yeah.
would cause the
That's all
fires.
called safety. Yeah.
Yeah, well, back then you didn't have ground wire. You just ran 2 wire. You ran your
You just had
vehicle,
faith
and you
and
ran
just
your
went.
hot.
If God loved you, you're okay.
If you
look at you
acknowledge its
today.
and
existence.
that reminds me, my father updated the wiring down there, but it was true. That was the wiring through the rest of the house.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened?
We blew fuses all the time, so you know, the easy thing for the parents, go change the fuse in the basement once they told you how to do it. And of course, for some reason I got to do it more than others.
Because you're the baby.
But at this particular time, the fuse had blown, and I don't think our parents were even there at the time. But I don't recall exactly. But I know I was chosen to go down there and change the fuse in the death basement.
The chosen one.
So I go down there, and just like always, yes, I'm a kid. I've had a bad experience in there. You get your flashlight. You look both sides. Of course, there's no light, so you have to look both sides before you walk down the first set of steps, because some could grab you and pull you down the steps. So you get down to the middle landing. You looked into the kitchen. You looked down the stairs, and then you looked off to the side towards the area that was where the bad dream was. So then you will work your way all the way downstairs. Then you looked around again, because now you can see around the corners of the basement and stuff like that. So I get to looking around the corner of the basement. I definitely look back there where the bathtub area is, and the bathtub's there. So you know I'm going back there, and I'm trying to see if the door's open, because my experience, that door was closed when I experienced this. So long as the
door is open, you're okay.
I know it's not that situation. So I go back there and I look, the door's open. I say yes. I used to, during the daylight, I would open that door and leave it open.
Yeah.
I mean the sliding glass door in the bathtub. So then I come back and I turn towards where the fuse box is and where the kitchen is. I turn around and there's this older white lady standing there, ghost white hair, white face, and a black gown. She's staring at me, and I'm staring at her, and then she just says,
I would have been like,
around the corner, right past me, around the corner. I'm frozen solid. I'm terrified, and I'm looking at her. She floats right by me, looks at me, and goes around to the back area where I couldn't see before.
I would have been like, bitch, you're in the wrong house.
And I'm frozen, and I run upstairs as fast as I could after that and shut the door. Nobody would go down there until the sun came up. And I'm thinking, what the?
Oh, man.
It just freaked me out.
That gave me goosebumps.
But you probably didn't think ghosts. You were too young to think ghosts.
Oh,
in
I
your
was
mind.
thinking ghost.
Were you really?
She didn't walk. She didn't talk. What was she doing in the house? Why was she wearing all black? And she just
imagine.
So you knew what ghost was at that time. How much older?
No,
were you?
necessarily,
ghosts
but
on
you know,
TV and stuff like that.
But just imagine,
Disney
if it
movies.
would be 1,000 times more scary if he didn't believe in ghosts or whatnot.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's an actual person.
Yeah.
Like, why is she in my house?
Yeah.
Like, it's still terrifying.
And the lights went out. The lights went out. Why did the lights go out?
Yeah,
you know, I'm thinking the fuse
that's
blown.
nuts.
I'm going down there.
You think she could have caused it?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, I'm thinking she turned them on. She did it.
Because you just triggered me on thinking about that. We're talking about blown fuses.
Oh, God. Do you have the same experience?
Not seeing an apparition, but we'd randomly have a fuse go out and you had to go down. So our basement was a very small, squarish limestone basement. It used to be a coal fire furnace, and they converted it so it was open. But you had to go. That's where
That's how it was. It was
you had to go down. You had to change the fuses, and that's what the sump pump was. And it creeped me the fuck out. It was wooden steps going down. You went partially down, then you had to turn.
Yeah, turn.
And it was opened up at that point. But yeah, we had the light. Well, you kicked the light on, you could see everything. But until you could get to it,
get to the light. Yeah.
But
Scared
I
me.
never realized, like as you were talking about, I was like, that fuse would go out for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And random times, and then you're going down to fix it. And like, we never figured out what was causing the fuse to go out.
So can I ask a random question? Would it ever occur that you would go down and the fuses would be fine, but they would just be knocked out or something, like on the ground?
No, they were never out. Every time I went down,
The fuse was bad.
the fuse was bad, but it was like we never. I never changed. Like I would change the fuses, but we never changed the I mean, like we had a refrigerator. I don't even think we had a washing machine or a dishwasher, washing machine, dryer. They're thinking back, like this is the mid '80s. We did not have a shit ton of
No,
electronics.
there were 60 amp panels.
Yeah, and it's like and it was always some random time that would pop. It was like in the middle of the late night,
would
like
just go
nothing,
bad.
no real load going on,
Yeah, they
and
would
all of a
just go
sudden
bad.
your light goes out, and you're like, well, that's odd. And then somebody goes, oh, you need to go into, as you said, the death basement. And we're like, fuck you.
Well, it makes you wonder if the times that it would go out.
Yeah, I never correlated that.
Related to something that
The energy
happened.
sucking it out.
Or an event that happened.
Sucking it off?
You're sucking it out.
So-
The energy.
So
That's drawing energy.
Ours, there's times when you would go down there and you go to change the fuse, you touch it and start screwing because it's screwed out. And it just
it
pop
backed
off.
out.
It'll pack up. It pop. I mean, you didn't have to turn anything. You just touched it
That's
to
even
start it. And
weirder.
it just
Now,
pops back on.
technically, we're going to get scientific. There is a
Loose
possibility.
neutral.
Well, yeah, loose neutral. But when we were talking about the fuse, you could
thought you said
overheat it.
Ninja
It
Turtle.
could expand, and it could, because they're screws. They could back out because of vibration and heat.
Absolutely.
That's a plot. That's like the house creaking.
Flashlight over here. Flashlight.
I was like, I was a kid. I didn't go to that.
you-
there.
yeah.
I just know the fuse pop on. I was like,
So what happened after that, my man?
so
He
after
pissed
that,
his pants?
you know, I did. I was really terrified. I ran back up the steps. I told everybody, and I was like, I'm not going down there. I'm not going down there. And I don't think nobody went down there. My parents, nobody went down there until the sun came up. So we got that all solved and everything. And you know, it was a couple days later. I was out in the backyard, and behind me. Now that I think about it, the guy was kind of creepy.
Now that I think about it, with my age and wisdom,
Yeah.
I was in danger.
I had this guy kind of like, let's see,
Stranger danger.
what's the guy that used to do the kids shows?
Captain Kangaroo?
Jolly.
Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers.
Oh, Mr.
He was kind of like a Mr. Rogers.
The Eddie
type
Murphy
guy.
version, or
But
He
he was
gave a
always happy
creepy
and
vibe.
friendly. He was always happy and friendly, and
I bet he was.
yeah, but he was really friendly with us kids.
No, I bet he was.
But anyway, so the guy behind me, like I said, he was kind of freaky
Mr.
now yeah, Mr. Rogers type, but he wasn't married, he didn't have any kids, and he was very, very friendly to us, and always gave us all kinds of candies
Was he
and
white?
cakes and stuff. Yeah. So
Oh, I thought you were talking about Michael Jackson for a second.
yeah,
Well, he was white,
very
too.
friendly to us. Anytime we go in the backyard, he come out, hey, how you all doing? So,
I don't know.
I was just touching myself to you. Like that guy from Family Guy.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
so he's out there in the yard. He's talking about mother and everything, and she starts telling him about, oh, my son got freaked out the other night because of this, and that. And he says, oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes you feel great when they go, oh, okay.
You know, the previous owner of that house, she died in that house,
Oh shit.
and he described her, and she's exactly
What you
like
saw.
what I saw.
Sorry.
He's taking notes. He's getting serious.
Yeah. You know, it's one thing to just see something and get freaked out, but now you're connecting it to real life.
Well, you
Yeah,
get,
you
get
literally,
confirmation.
if they would have put a picture in front of you, you would have gone, oh, that's her.
Well, he did have a picture of her.
Oh, shit.
He did have a
Sorry.
picture of her.
And it was her, wasn't it?
It was her. Yeah, it was her.
Yeah. So to interject, that phenomenon is very discerning or scary, because we actually investigated a place in Lenexa, which was the first. It was a business called Satch's Jewel, which was like a boutique, but it was the first doctor's house in Lenexa, and he would do like underground surgeries in the basement and shit, and found out that he was not a very good guy. Well, when the lady moved in to start the boutique, her youngest daughter didn't have an apartment yet or anything. She stayed in the basement. She ended up losing like 100 pounds, became almost anorexic, was having a dream every night that this crazy guy, like demented, demonic guy, was like performing surgery on her as she would sleep, and she couldn't move. She was paralyzed. It terrified her to death. And we were like, oh, that's weird. So we pulled up an old picture that had like all the original homeowners of Lenexa, because there was only like 5 of them at the time, back in the 1800s. And we showed it to her and was like, are any of these guys this
Familiar
person
or whatever.
familiar? She pointed and she's like, that's the motherfucker, that's the man. She pointed to the doctor that owned the place, and she's like, he's the one that's doing this to me.
Is this with your former paranormal activity?
Rick and Nathan.
Spooks?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the first time that
You get
I
that
ever experienced
confirmation
anything like
of-
that, and I
they're
was like,
seeing something that connects back to the real.
That's
like, oh, shit,
that's chilling.
like, that's-
That's chilling. And it's
that turned
scary
your
as
hair
hell.
great.
Yeah.
so,
So,
it reminds me
mean-
of your experience. So, I mean, that's terrifying.
Yeah, just talk about this now. I got the chills right
Yeah.
now. I feel my
Like, the
hairs
hair on my
standing up
arms
and
is standing up. Look at that.
You do. I can see it.
Yeah.
So 4 into